Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this new stream. This is a new one for me, streaming on Wednesday. I thought, you know what, let's do a third streaming session during the week, so we can do a little bit more on the paintings, and we might keep the streaming sessions a little bit shorter. Although I planning on making them longer in the future. Wow, I'm a little bit rusty. I'm a little bit tired, but we'll try to do our best. On Monday we created 6 thumbnails. These 6 we used photographs for that, a little bit of paint, and yeah, we made a little selection on what we like and what we don't. The little cross ones are the ones that we're not gonna do anything with them. We sort of just reject those. And today we're gonna work on this one. I put it in a new file already, and I kind of want to work on the other 2 as well. So we might start with one next week. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to do something with them, especially this bottom one. I really like the light. There's no design here, by the way. And I hoped I could have found some inspiration between streams, but I didn't. So yeah, we might. I think I will just say for now that we work on this one next week, to keep that as our goal, to have this one for next week. According to YouTube, the stream health isn't perfect, but all right. So that's enough rambling. Today we're gonna work on this little piece here. Let's lock this layer and let's just get in here. Grab a brush, I guess, and see what we can do with this one. I quite like it. When I was making it, I had a little bit of I struggled quite a bit with it at first, but in the end I think it worked out. So so yeah, I guess we will just go in there and continue with it. I think I want to have a little bit of a somewhat brighter down here, and today is all gonna be paint. So we're gonna paint the entire stream for, let's say, an hour or an hour and a half, something like that. And on Friday, yeah, I guess we will do the latest details on Friday. Today is a little bit of design, a little bit of detailing, and on Friday we will just we'll finish everything up, make it nice, cool, stuff like that. So yeah, is there anything to talk about here? Not much yet, I guess. I will just go in here and design this thing out. It's probably the most important thing to do right now, is to get a design going. Yeah, I think I want this right piece here. Because now it's sort of a big assortment of blobs of paint. Of course, you can see something in it, but I think we need to help the viewer a little bit more to figure out what's going on. Maybe I will add some glass, I don't know. I haven't really decided whether I want this to be fantasy or sci-fi. I just want to paint a cool scene. With nice lighting. So I think we're gonna have some quite bright highlights here and there. I think I want to make this more rock-like. This might be a little bit too dark. There is this little waterfall here. I think I'm gonna get rid of that. We have plenty of waterfalls, of course. So I think we don't want this one here. So we need to get rid of that. I think about expanding sort of the bush or trees. What is it? No, I think they are bushes. More over here. I think this is a little bit too orange. The sort of little beach area. I think I like Nephalia, but I want it to get more yellow. Yeah, I think that's better. Be even a little bit brighter yellow. Let's see. It's a little sandy area. I kind of want to make this scene quite happy and sort of nice. Bit of sand and just a sort of a nice place to be. Not everything has to be grim and dark and full. Some should just want to relax in the sun, and this is probably a good place to go if you want that. Well, that's the sort of the vibe I want to bring across. Not sure what I'm gonna do with the waterfalls. If I'm just gonna keep them the way they are, because it's very clear now that those are photographs. But that isn't necessarily a problem. Yes. We'll maybe add some stuff to them to make it a little bit less obvious, but I think I want to keep this sort of these horizontal cracks or whatever we want to call it. Yeah, mountain. This is a totally different scene from the one I did last week. It's a lot more grounded in the real world. This one, I guess. Of course, it's still really it's quite nice looking and fantasy-like. But the mushroom one was, I think, a little bit more like something you won't really find in the real world. I don't want these clouds to be that dark, so let's light them a little bit lighter. I want to add some clouds there, but not sure how I want to do that yet. So won't go in there just now. We might even finish this one today because I think it's in quite a good spot here to make it quite a nice rough little painting that we can show quite soon. So maybe I will sort of finish this one today and do the top right one from the thumbnails on Friday, because I think that's also a one that doesn't need a ton of work. And the bottom right one is one that probably can use a lot of work. Sort of struggling how to fit this cloud in thing. Let's go to 70% opacity so that we can blend the stuff a little bit better together. lighter. Maybe a little too light. Clouds are quite challenging to paint. I think I want this sky to be a little bit less dark and a little bit more blue. Let's that. Because now the sky is sort of the same value as the mountains, which is not good. And this makes it even darker. Don't want that. Lighter. Like this. And the cloud gets a little bit destroyed by it, but that's okay, I guess. Really should just get a cloud brush. Makes things a lot easier. So I can immediately down a cloud. But okay, we don't have one, so we have to do without one. Let's see if we make any progress here. Yeah, I think values are fairly. It's all fairly bright, and this area here in the middle is no good. The values of this sort of whole area compared to the rest back here is exactly the same, and with color it feels darker, which it is slightly, but not too much. Maybe it's probably also because of the highlights. So I think we can make it a little bit better by making the highlight even brighter. So that might work. So now there's a distinction between the... Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. But let's take a little sip of coffee there. So I finished my coffee now. It's a shame. Coffee for this live stream. So yeah, I'm doubting whether I should add more stuff to the, yeah, what do we want to call it, castle area. I think we have to determine what we want to make of it. Do we want to make it a castle or a temple? I think a castle thingy is good, but then we have to make it look a little bit more like a castle. Like it has a proper military function, which it currently doesn't really have, I guess. It's just more sitting there, but it doesn't really do anything. We'd also have to figure out, do we want a way to sort of access the castle? For instance, a little dock area here. Let's get a new layer and just start painting IDs. Maybe it will work. Let's say if we have a little dock area here with a little boat. and the people can go, for instance, like here, and maybe there's a little road going up the castle, and maybe there's some something like a little elevator. Be cool. And there's a little hut down here that maybe a little bit bigger. Like a couple of warehouses and huts, and so people probably have to keep watch there 24/7. And if you want to change, don't necessarily want to go all the way to the castle when you want to sleep. It's like that. Not sure if we're gonna keep it, but this is just a sort of to add a little bit more story to this whole thing here, to see whether we can make this a little bit more interesting to look at. Maybe there's a little village down here, and that helps with the scale of this massive castle thing in the background, to see, you know what, there's people working down here that live in these houses. So you have they're not big houses, but you have sort of an idea on the scale of things a little bit better with the houses being here. Can make a nice contrast here with the waterfall. And maybe there's a little bridge going here, and who knows, maybe there's some idiot guy who lives here. Could get rid of all of this, of course, but this is just sort of ID generation, because I think the image needs a little bit more stuff to be interesting. And maybe in front of the castle here and there are a little tiny houses and stuff like that. Can push it back a little bit, maybe. Make this not as steep. So if we were to push this back a little bit into the distance, we could make a bigger village here. This is all just, this is sort of part of the design. The design part of a painting. So let's say that this is the foreground, and no, not these waterfalls. These can be pushed back as well, because then this doesn't really feel as close to the waterfall as they are currently feeling. And we can get rid of that. Oops. The way around. Selection and cleaner. There we go. I don't know if this works, but we'll keep sort of same composition, but we will hopefully make it look a little bit more interesting. That's sort of want to achieve here. Push this back a little bit into the distance. I think we shouldn't be too excited with this up front here. I don't know if this works. We can turn it on and off and see. Still not sure about this little tree thingy. Takes up a whole lot of space. Of course it was part of the original photograph, but That's maybe just more reason to get rid of it. Or we build a little bit of housing to it. Probably the best option. So we either have this thing sort of on its own, or we will build some stuff to accommodate it. I think the idea that we have some stuff going on here, I think that's good. Maybe we don't make this as strong as we currently have it. Let's put it at 40. So we push it back a little bit, but not that much. Because we still kind of want this to be on a. I think we can keep the cliff ID, or not really a cliff, but very steep. So it's not easy to go from the bottom here to all the way up to the castle thing. Maybe that's the only way to sort of reach it. Maybe there's a big area of highlands here with cliffs on all the sides. So it's a big plateau. I'm just sort of making up this story to make this thing sort of believable. So they can grow the food and have sheep and stuff like that. So they can sort of self-sustain without them having to import all kind of stuff. Because if you have a castle on top of a high mountain or anything, you have to import all kinds of stuff because you don't have the space to grow it all. But maybe if this is a big plateau with cliffs on all the sides, they can grow the stuff up here and sort of be kind of almost unreachable. Yeah, I think I like that idea of that latest idea. Yeah, I think we keep this. I think we can merge this. I will keep it. We'll keep it on a separate layer for now, because we definitely want to keep this sort of our progress to make this look like something. Yeah, I think we can even merge this together. That's okay. And this is sort of the experimental layer. That's what we're gonna spend today on. So maybe we don't finish this one today. I think we will still have some work to do on Friday. Let's get the color brush here, because at a certain size the landscape or that brush that I used just doesn't work anymore when I get really small with it. So a good way to prevent that is to increase the canvas size, because then you can use a bigger brush with the same brush stroke. But I don't want to increase the canvas size too much yet, so we're gonna use this one. There's a lot less texture in this one, so gotta be careful with it. Yeah, I think I want to. Maybe I can use this one for a little bit longer. I probably want some stuff here. And I think we have to use the lasso tool a little bit with our soft brush to separate our houses here and there. It's more a suggestion of houses currently, of course. I think there can be a lot of green between the houses. That's okay. This is just a small. We don't want to overdo it because it's a small sort of amount of houses to have some personnel for the little harbor here. and stuff like that. Maybe some fishermen, things like that. Nothing else. So we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to have a big village down here. So I think we'll just keep it like this. And then we have this little road leading up to the main gate, wherever that is. I think we're gonna make this. Yeah, we have to sort of see what we want our main gate to be. I think we're gonna make this our main gate. So like here, it's gonna be our main gate. Whether that's sort of visible, that's the entrance, I don't know, because it's quite far away, of course. For now, it kind of is. And we can add some homes and houses here and there as well. And this is sort of a city now, so it turned from a castle to a city. So, if necessary, all the people can withdraw within the walls of this big structure here. Maybe we want some upgrades to this place. Maybe we want some color to it as well. So let's say this guy has an I want it to be reddish, a red roof, something like this. This is probably nice. And maybe there's a little tower in front of it. Something like that. So all those little details we will work them out later. Is there anything else that we want to add in terms of design? Oh, we'll have to design the ships. Or ship. I don't know how many we will do. I think we can start going on in and about sort of the details and stuff like that. So let's do that. Go to the detailing phase. So maybe we will finish it today. Still have better part of half an hour, 5 minutes, something like that. Depends how we feel. Half an hour. I think I want more of this green pastures, especially here with at the water. We might want to add a little lake kind of area and a sort of a source for these for all these waterfalls. You know, water has to come from somewhere, but it's probably quite green around it as well. So this is quite far away. So we have to sort of dull down the textures here because there's a lot of detail going on here. There's a lot of pixel density, so if you, yeah, let's call it like that. And we don't necessarily want that because this is quite far away. So we don't want this to look as close as this area here. see something darker here. That kind of works. I kind of want to finish sort of the background. In the meantime, it's a good way to sort of think about the rest and build your confidence. If you're not really sure what you're gonna do or not feeling confident enough, start with something easy. You sort of can do most mindlessly. It's a good way to sort of build your confidence. And yeah, and in the meantime work on your painting as well, because the background here is important as well. It doesn't have to be as detailed as the foreground, but it has to be a little bit of detail in there. Some sort of cliffs there, or up there, whatever you want to call it. We want a little bit closer to the thing here. Something like that. Maybe the stuff here in the background. Of. Alright, now onto this, onto these structures and stuff like that. I think I want this to be more like a cliff as well. And do a bunch of vertical stuff here. Still have to sort of, I think the water comes from the right side here, so kind of finds its way down here, and some of it down here. On the original picture, it came all from the back, of course. But since we added a structure there, we don't really have room for the water to come from. Maybe there is some sort of yeah, I think that's kind of cool if you have some sort of a waterfall coming out of here, and so there is always fresh water. Yeah, castle thing here in the city. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely true. It sort of comes with experience, I guess, and you learn all sorts of techniques to speed up the process. I created some thumbnails last Monday. I think I worked over a little bit over an hour on 6 thumbnails, so that's like 10 minutes each, a little bit more than 10 minutes each. Yeah, and part of it is just don't be afraid to paint. That's definitely something I've been yeah, I sort of suffered from. Yeah, not feeling confident enough to sort of paint the stuff. It's a little bit hard to explain, but at the same time, it's really easy to explain. If you want a ship or a house, just paint the thing, paint the ship or paint the house, and once it's there, you can see what's wrong with it and what you need to change. And I don't know. I think I learn a lot from just doing it, and just looking at the world and trying to figure out what's wrong. And having an idea what you want to paint also helps with setting up a painting first sort of stages. And photographs. And I use a lot of photographs to get going, whether it's just for the color or part of a photograph as a sort of as part of the design. It speeds up the process so much, and it's also yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, I guess you're right, thanks. And I hope I'm still doing that a lot. I'm still sort of second guessing myself. But I also notice when I'm just going in there and do the stuff that it really works. So I hope the next I'm streaming now for or not streaming. I'm having this channel for a year now. Last week was sort of the first year anniversary. And I hope in the coming year I will learn more and get better. So if I compare myself to a year ago, I've grown quite a lot. But yeah, it's really good to see those sort of things and to know those things. It works both ways. Get a lot faster, and the quality goes up. So it's a sort of a two-edged sword. You can do more work in let's say half an hour, and better work in half an hour. So let's say that something that would cost an hour back in let's say a year ago, something that cost me an hour a year ago now may only cost me 20 minutes. That's really cool to see that. Yeah, and that's definitely something I want to improve as well, to make the stuff fun to watch as well. That's why I'm doing a different painting each week now, so you don't look at the same painting for 4 weeks in a row. I don't think that's very fun to watch, especially the late stage, because you can easily work a couple of hours on the detailing of a painting, and it can be really important work to make the details look right and make them look cool. But in the meantime, it takes a lot of time for a little improvement, little visual change, so to say. So that's why I decided to just do one painting a week and then call it a day, whether it's finished or not. And if I want to have more detail and want to improve it more, I will do it in my own. I will do it off stream in my own time. So I think that's a way to keep things more interesting as well. Because in a week you can sort of see the image go from early sketch to finished or almost finished product. And detailing is just, I don't know, it's just detailing. It's I wouldn't necessarily say boring, but it's, in my opinion, quite boring to watch. But sometimes it gets boring to do as well, because you're sort of just reinforcing what's already there. And I'm really about generating the ideas. If I could sort of build my channel upon making rough sketches and nothing else, I would do it. But I think it's important to show more finished work. So I'm not sure this is an improvement up here. This little, I don't know. It's an improvement or not. Maybe I should throw down a texture or something. I think this one is yeah, I still think we can sort of almost finish it today. Or at least finish it to a level that it is presentable. And then on Friday we will do one of the other thumbnails. And next week we do a third one. I think a little bit more depth in this these structures will be nice, I guess. Let's see. One more highlight on this one. That's something I should study more. It's called lighting and stuff like that. Yeah, this is good. I want some separation down here as well, because all of these are the same value. I want to add some more atmospheric fog, so I think we're gonna play with the little lasso tool for now. And the soft brush. It is actually, I think, my favorite sort of tool to work with, because you can sort of change the entire feel, and you can change so much with so little work. I don't know, it's just, wow. Wasn't really planning on doing it this way, but that works. Just such a powerful tool. Really love it. I think I'm gonna use it to change this as well. Just get rid of the a little bit rid of the sort of excessive detail. I really like the rainbow sort of thingies here. Gaze that's added by the waterfalls. I think we need to add a bunch of it down here as well. And that way we will push it further back as well. And I think we're gonna play with the color balance a little bit as well. I also like that. Let's see, so we sort of had this structure here. First we thought let's make it a castle, then I thought no, let's add some housing. I think that worked. So we're going to merge the layers. I think there can be a little bit more contrast, especially between the right and the left. But first, let's play a little bit with the color balance, because that can change sort of the. It's a little bit over the top, of course, but sometimes helps to see what it does. Kind of like the more blue tones. So let's put this on 0 and let's see. I think the original one is a little bit too green. Sort of has this green glow top of it, and when we change it to this one, it's kind of. I think it's better this way. Maybe we'll add some more contrast. It's a little bit too much, probably. Everything becomes a little bit clearer. Let's see. Yeah, I like the increased contrast. Should be careful though, because my screen doesn't have that much contrast, so that's a bit annoying. Screens are differently. I have two different screens, one with too much contrast and one with probably a little bit too little contrast. So when I check this image on the on OBS, which is on my other screen, I think it's too much contrast. But when I look at this one, I think it's about right. Could be a little bit more, but so I probably have to keep it in between. So if I think it's too much on the one screen and too little on the other screen, it's probably all right. I should definitely get some new screens at some point, with the same level of contrast, just the same screens, and color calibrate them properly. I don't know what to do with this anymore. Yeah, other than just go in and detail it a little bit better. I don't think I can do too much with it. Let's open the thumbnails here. So these were the thumbnails that we started with. A couple of them that I don't like, especially the bottom left one. It's just horrible in my opinion. But that's okay. That's why we created thumbnails. The top left is also didn't make the cut. I think on Friday we'll work on this top right one. And next week we'll work on the bottom right one. I still have to figure out sort of a design for this, but I really like the play with the light and the colors and these light spots here. So gonna have to figure something out with that. But next week we're gonna start with this bottom one here, and on Friday we're gonna figure out what to do with this one. But yeah, this is for today. Yeah, I'm just going in there and start detailing, I guess. Maybe we could throw in some textures to help. A little bit, but let's first use this brush with a little bit less texture to it than the other brush that we used. This sort of the brush that I use for landscapes. It has a lot of texture, a little bit too much for buildings. So the buildings are a little bit rough now. Let's add a bit of a roof area here. So maybe you can see the silhouettes of a couple of houses here as well. Other important buildings. It's still a little bit of design. Or do I want this to stay a lot cleaner? I don't know. I want to make it a little bit more interesting than just these blocks. A bit too sort of bunch of cubes stacked together. I think we need to stay sort of within the design language that we already established. So more like cross between Greek and Egyptian architecture. With some European influence. The red roof here. Though I think Greek temples used to have these terracotta tiles on top of them. So it's not too far-fetched. Let's not get too crazy with the colors here. A little white house here. I think I want the white for different houses as well. And the main theme is still gonna be blocky, of course. So this is the entrance, and there's a road going down here into the city, but it's also this big staircase going up, and there's the plaza up there. Happened. Everything shifts or not? No, I don't know. Yeah, everything shifted, but I'm working in one layer, so that's okay. Normally I'd shifted an entire layer, but since I'm a single layer, it's okay. to figure out a way to maybe make this a little bit more interesting, because now it's just two sort of slabs of stone. Which isn't that cool. Can get rid of this thing. I don't really have a function for it, so you can go. The road. Kind of crooked, but I think this works more or less. So they carved the road out of the rock. Maybe we need some highlights here and there. Figuring out how this vegetation works. think I want to have some vegetation on this stuff here as well. I'm gonna cut this off here, and I'm gonna change this a little bit. So I'm gonna push that sort of temple-y thing, whatever it is. We're gonna push that a little bit further back, so we have another layer of painting, another layer of depth. No group layer, just to make sure we can get rid of it if we don't like it. We gonna put it in a new layer. Should select the right layer, otherwise I can't really work on it. And push it back a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, but that's okay because we can adjust the opacity of the layer to make it less strong. I'm tempted to sort of copy the thing and put it right here. So you have this wall area, so this is not flush with the walls. So yeah, that's just something I'm gonna do. So we're gonna select this area. So we're gonna have some trouble with the clouds, but that's okay. Gonna copy it and gonna put it right here, and then I'm gonna select this. That. Still flush with the walls this way, so gonna change it a bit. Stick out a little bit more. This thing feels like a big chimney. And it makes it look like a Victorian era factory. That's not what we want. So yeah, we're gonna have to change that. Oops. There we go. Um, and now we need to fit it all back together. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. No, I don't think. I'm sure. I'm gonna get rid of this little tower here. It doesn't really have any function. I kind of want to keep it as flat as possible. For some reason, just sort of stretched out. Really make it look like city walls. So yeah, we'll grab the soft brush later and sort of finish that off. This is just clouds that we need to be cool. So yeah, we're gonna change this chimney-like structure. Gonna get rid of it. Bye bye. Don't want a chimney. If we want something, it would be a tower, not a chimney. Yeah, and yeah, we're gonna add some highlights to that roof. Maybe change it up a little bit, make it look a little bit cooler. We're gonna chop it off. Go. And maybe we want something else on top of it. Not really. I may want to add some more layers. Struggling with this thing. I don't really like it. But that's mainly because I added a roof. I think the roof just doesn't fit within the theme. So I guess we just have to do one thing, and that is rid of the entire roof. Just doesn't fit with the rest. Just doesn't work. Bye bye roof. See you never again. And now we can work on the clouds here as well a little bit. Clouds are a mess. Let's try to fix that. So let's make a really rough selection of this whole thing here. So we can work on the clouds without ruining the image. Something like that. Yeah, let's grab the landscape brush, put it to 60% opacity, maybe 40. So everything blends together a lot better. Maybe we should just select the entire sky and go ham on it. So we really can have a painted sky. Quite like this idea of these strong, these cool clouds. Hopefully it will fit a little bit with the rest. So sort of a light border around them, and they're sort of darker in the middle, and depends a little bit on where the sun is, whether they have are darker in the middle and brighter at both the edges, or sometimes it's just the upper edge, but usually they're brighter at the top and the bottom. Because that's the density is the lowest of the cloud, and light can pass through it easier. I think that's the way it works. I assume that's the way it works. Don't know, but sort of my educated guess. So that's something that's good to know, because then that helps you paint or draw something if you know how it works. Sort of the science, so to say, behind it. Really, that really makes things easier. Let's pick up blue. A little bit too strong, but another layer of paint. And yeah, let's entire area a little bit darker here. So that's a start. So let's see, what did we change? We changed from this to that. Is that an improvement? I think it is. This looks a little bit messy now, but I think it fits the style a lot better. So let's work for let's say 10-15 more minutes. Then gonna have to end the stream, sadly. Yeah, and I think we will do a new one on Friday, a new painting. Not a new painting, but the other thumbnail said we talked about earlier. And I'll try to improve this a little bit more off stream before we make a little time lapse of it. Yeah, I think the general idea is probably quite clear here. I want this to be more blue. Shadows tend to be blue. So if you're learning, you want to put down a shadow, put some blue on it, not black. Clean up these edges. I think that that really works. Let's see. To separate this a little bit. What if we make this part of this of water gate? No, not the scandal, but the literal gate with water flow through it. Maybe we can sort of make it look a bit better by adding more water and flows. Yeah, I think that makes it gives it a little bit more of a fantasy feel to it. But by doing this, it is the same height as this thing, so that's gonna be another issue. So let's fix that issue like this, and then this is quite high up, so it probably catches quite a lot of sunlight. So maybe a little bit too much, but now it will do. The color doesn't really match. What if we do it like this? So instead of one, we're gonna have sort of two things. Let's try to make the perspective right. About perspective, almost forgot. One way to check the perspective is flipping the image. So let's do that quickly. Yeah, we need to add some decorative stuff later to it. Yeah, I like that I added the two other waterfalls to that. That's good. Maybe we'll even add something like a little hole here. And like that. And what about this? So we wanted a function for these things, right? What if I gave them function by adding since there's so many waterfalls here and there, so there's everywhere, I think it's kind of cool to sort of continue the theme of all the water falling everywhere into the building itself. Yeah, why didn't I think of that earlier? We're gonna get rid of this. This was supposed to be some house thingy, but not anymore. Get some other ideas now. So that way it feels a lot more integrated into the landscape. It sort of follows the landscape in that the landscape sort of has all these waterfalls and the building sort of continues that. I quite like that. I thinking whether I should put one here, but not sure yet. So and then we have this this thing here. So why don't we sort of add a little structure to it? That is too light. But this dark enough, something like this. So we have this. Oh wait, it's probably getting hit by the sun as well. So it's too light. Get to the rest. As you can see, this feels like it is red, but in fact, pick the color. Check this. It is a blue. Color is so fascinating. It is blue, but if I put it down here, my eyes think it is a sort of a reddish color. Color is amazing. Color works. Something like that. Yeah, I like that. So that way, I think it feels a lot better integrated with the actual landscape. It's not sort of two things mashed together. Yeah, quite happy with it so far. A little brighter. Goes behind these bushes. Comes back here. And it goes down here. All sort of stuff in front of it. Maybe we need to add some water effects. Some mist created by the water. Lighter. You have to deselect it, of course, otherwise it doesn't work. Ah, no, I have the wrong brush. I still don't know which key it is that makes me select a brush next to the brush I had before. Make it almost white. Um, and select this. Something like that. Yeah, I quite like the way this one turned out. So unfortunately for me, it's time to stop the stream here. I'm gonna work on it off stream a little bit, and then we will make a little time lapse of it, because I think it's quite presentable the way it is. Of course, there's a lot of you can do a lot of detailing on it, but the image itself won't change that much anymore. I think we made the most important changes today. We created some nice stuff. We created this little village. We did something with the water and with the city here on top of the hill, top of the mountain, whatever you want to call it. But from now on, it's all about detailing, which isn't that interesting, I think. So yeah, here we can see the little thumbnail sketch that we started with. On Friday, we're gonna work on this one up top here, the top right one, and next week we're gonna work on the bottom right one. So I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I think we made a nice, interesting painting out of it. Thank you for watching, and I hope we will see you on Friday. Bye.